Hello. Let's see here. It says I'm live, so hi everybody. Bill from Paint Minis Live here. Currently kind of dealing with a little technical difficulty on my end. I was going to try and use my phone for this stream, but I guess you need to have a certain number of people to use a mobile device subscribe to your channel before you can actually do that. So I'm trying to just use a laptop here to stream today. So we're trying that, and I'm also trying to get the live chat to show up so that we can do the giveaway too, because that's important and it's fun. Everybody likes that. Let's see if it'll roll over now. Otherwise, I might have a plan B for that too. Okay. Well, that's a lot of fun. Looks like the live chat's not working there. Maybe I can just sign in on my phone. I'm sorry it's so down to the wire, but like literally it threw me for a loop. I was reading up on like how to stream from your phone, and you know I'd been preparing for that until I got hit. I went to do the go live portion of it on your phone, and then I got hit with the whole you need 50 people subscribe to your channel to even do it thing, and I guess it was a little ill prepared. So here we are. Okay, so I've got the live chat on my phone, so that I can actually see what's going on. I'm gonna stick that up here. By the way, we're set up in ye old garage on the countertop here with all my lights and whatnot in front of me. I'm traveling right now out at my parents' house to spend some time with my pops. I've been having a great day with him. So that's why the scenery is a little different. I'm going to try and shoot this with only a single webcam, and that's going to be fun because, as you know, I like running the spray booth and whatnot. Hello, Dungeon Minister. Good to see you. I was watching some of your stuff the other night. Dungeon Minister has some really great recaps and videos on his site, and he's a lot of fun to listen to, and he has like special effects and stuff. Anyways, here's a prize for the giveaway. If you come in, subscribe, and put your name in the chat a little later on, I'll enter you into the drawing, and at the end I'm going to use ye old laptop to get a randomized wheel spinner, stick everybody's names in it, and we're going to pick one. I'll give you an email address, send me your info, and I'll get a package into FedEx and send you a copy of Warhammer Underworlds miniatures game for 2 people. What other things we got for shoutouts so far? We got RPG Grandma. I was watching her stuff the other night too. Let me just see if I can make sure that's her handle before I go any further with that spiel. Yeah, RPG Grandma. And she had a really good, succinct overview of the Dungeoneer's Guide, and I found that really enjoyable, so that was fun. Let me go get back to the YouTube here so that I can watch the chat roll in. Big shout out to the Dungeon Delver as well for sending us his Red Dragon mini. I put a little community post out about that the other night. Here we are, primed up in a neutral gray tone, so we can get all those good shadows. just looking devilish as always. Um, so I got that primed up last night, and let me tell you, the priming part of this was a little difficult. This is a lead model. I found out he told me it was a lead model, but it's so textured, which I found really interesting for such an old model. How textured it is, that I had to really move around a lot to make sure the airbrush got all those nooks and crannies, and got it primed up. We've got the base for the model here that was provided by none other than Mr. Delver himself, who wanted us to paint. So we'll be doing that. I think some of the accessory pieces we might leave for another time because we're all here to watch the Red Dragon get painted. So with that, I've been thinking about how I want to get this guy painted. And I think I'm definitely going to start with deeper colors first, and we're going to work our way up lighter and lighter on the Dragon Mini. So with that said, I'm going to get some paint here, and we'll pick out a couple colors and get rocking. Unfortunately, I have no music today because YouTube really, with their the way that their copyright system runs, I wasn't able to get like an entire playlist of like background music. So this one's going to be one of those talk show streams. We'll see how well I can entertain you for an hour or two. Let's see here. Here's our grays, purple, brown. Alright, here we are. We're at our red section. I'm feeling like we start off with like burgundy, go to a burnt red, and end with like a really bold red. So that'll be our red triad, and I'll show you those in just a minute for our stream today. We'll see how far we get with that. We're also going to need to do the skin on his wings. We'll tackle that later. Alright. So how's everybody doing today? How are we doing? Hope we're well. Yeah, it is pretty cool mini there, Dungeon Minister. Especially for being, 40-year-old lead sculpted minis. This guy is pretty cool. He's got like a kind of a nice. The head sculpt on it is really nice. That's my favorite part of the entire thing is the head sculpt on that bad boy. So here are the colors we're going to be using. We're going to be using burgundy by Monument Hobbies. All of these are Monument Hobbies, but a burnt red by them, followed up by a really obnoxious Fire Engine red. And that's what we're going to have it be, because Bill Sylvie requested just the standard box art kind of look to it. But I'm going to throw in just a little here and there of, maybe doing some lighter highlight colors than usual. Give me just 1 second here. I forgot that I just need to grab that little trash can. Alright, here we are. Okay. How cynical he is. Yeah, really, it's very much so that kind of way. I'm gonna clear off a little bit of the desk here. I'm gonna get the burgundy and the nail lacquer shaker underneath the table. So hello to my head. It's confined quarters in here. We're making it work. So say, Dungeon Minister, what's your next big video about? What's the next big thing going on with you? Just kind of curious. So just like with anything, we're going to start off with our trusty airbrush, and we're going to be using Vallejo's airbrush flow improver, and I'm going to start by putting like a couple drops in the bottom of that. Just really helps hydrate the needle, gives it something to lubricate with as well. And then we're going to grab some of this burgundy color. I'm going to make sure I actually open this one. Oh. Well, I'm sure they'll have a great time in Honeywood. I'm going to grab a couple more wipes while I'm thinking about it. Well, it sounds like an interesting little event you're going to be having there. Who's sieging? Like, what is there any kind of like specific faction or like species that are sieging? Here's that red color. Kind of move that light over to kind of like it's a little bit darker than like a lipstick red, but I think it's gonna have a nice effect when it's in like the cracks and the crevices of the model. Kobold army. Oh, okay. A kobold army is camped out at the village. Oh yeah, well if the palisades are starting to buckle, they've already got a fight on their hands. So that should be pretty entertaining. Hey, Dungeon Minister, like, use what you got on hand. You know, any day you're painting is a good day, and it's great to relive, get your creativity out through those kinds of mediums. If you're interested in taking painting a little further, like, definitely go check out Monument Hobbies and their line of I think they call it Pro Acryl or something like that. It's right on their website, but if you go and check that out, they've got really great mini paints, and you get a lot of it, like 22 milliliters for I think like $6 or $7. At least that was when I picked it up. But their paints are really good. You just put a little, like, you can do it with water and like thin it down using water. I like flow improver on my stuff just because I tend to run it through an airbrush. But if you want to give that a shot, I'm sure you'll find some really good results with their line of paints. I used to use like Games Workshop and like Vallejo, stuff like that, but man, was it expensive, and that's kind of what drove me to find Monument Hobbies. So I'll show you in a minute here just what the airbrush do. It's like putting a second skin on the model. What you're kind of doing. Not only that, but the amount of air pressure I'm using, I'm really forcing the paint into the cracks and crevices of the model as I'm going through this. And I'm kind of looking to try and get as much of that paint into the cracks and crevices here, because it's so recessed. It's like really gritty sandpaper, the texturing on this model, and I want it to get covered evenly. Alright, let's take a quick break and show that off, just so, because you guys can't really see all the way from over there. Yeah, the paint itself can be really expensive. Let's see here. Shut you off. There we go. Let's see if I can get some appropriate lighting for this. There you go. That's probably about as good as we're gonna get with the quick together put together studio here. But anyways, yeah, you can kind of see how the paint is really thin. I made sure to put a couple extra drops of flow improver in there prior to starting work on this guy. But it is kind of a cool color. Once I tossed it over black, it really kind of turned it from less of a lipstick color, more of a bit more of a burgundy, as stated on the tin there. So we're gonna keep trucking. Oh, howdy howdy! Welcome to the stream. Just painting the red dragon, you know. Oh boy. I'm sorry about all the noise. I guess the local like National Guard Air Squadron is doing an air show or something today, and I just heard about that about 10 minutes before we went on stream. A little bit. How you doing today? Oh man, Kanik? Yeah, Kanik, I think it was. Trying to remember how to pronounce that one. This is our progress so far. We're just kind of chipping away at. Trying to chip away at getting him based in all red. Connect. Okay, got it. Got it. We can do that. Oh yeah, that's kind of why I use a spray booth, is because acrylics, they're pretty non-toxic for the most part, but like that's kind of why I use them. I can throw them through a spray booth and not have to worry about the toxicity there, Dungeon Minister. You know, this thing will filter out most of the particulates in it anyways, so I won't have to worry about it. Yeah, room is a big thing. I can totally understand that, and you can do everything that I'm doing here with a brush. I'm just kind of this is like a brush on steroids. Just it makes your work go a little bit quicker, which is kind of why I'm using it. I just kind of want to get a lot of this red on here so we can kind of get a move on some of the other details. So as I stated earlier, for a couple newcomers that we got, if you want to be entered in the giveaway for a copy of Warhammer Underworlds, you can go ahead and later on I'll let you know when. I'll give a key phrase or something later in the stream, and you can type that in the chat, and then I'll be tossing all the names onto a little randomized spinning wheel, and we'll find out who the winner is, and we'll get in touch and get you your copy of Warhammer. I was out here in the garage for like yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Sapphire, you were telling me you were saying that that was your YouTube handle a while back, and I just totally forgot about it. I shouldn't have. Oh. Well, if it's any consolation to you, Dungeon Minister, I'll make sure to plug your stream in here when I can. I'll make sure to keep doing that as a little token of gratitude for putting the word out there. Just another couple minutes here, and I'll give another progress show off of our little mini. Sorry, just catching up on the chat here. So here's what we got so far. Still just trying to get most of the body work completed here, and all of the red on the places the red needs to be. But we're getting there. We're getting real close before we start going on to some more of the highlight colors. 4077 from Gamma World. Yeah. There you go. Vicariously painting. Right. Well, I vicariously painted before, so you know, enjoy yourself. You know, watching somebody like I think it's By Painted or like Sam Lens's work, and who else? Ninjon is another big one that I used to watch. I like his channel. He's kind of funny. A couple other folks. Looks like I need more red in the cup here. Mini Wargaming too. Yeah, Mini Wargaming is a lot of fun. They do a lot of like, you know, paint, like talking about painting or what kind of supplies they're into, as well as just other stuff about mostly more of the miniature hobby aspect of it. Yep, James. I've partaken in some of James' craziness. He's got some good fun games. From James Feck Publishing, I believe is his signal or handle. Yeah, James Feck Publishing. He's got some. He's got a really good simple sixes system that he's got. That's really interesting. He's got it in like a lot of different flavors too. Yeah, like an old western, which is really cool. How many hours do I estimate that this particular model is going to take to completion? Well, I'm not going to do it all on this stream. This stream's, we're probably going to get through most of like the basing and maybe a couple layers of a couple different layer colors and like highlights, but I think this model will be I don't know 16 man hours, like 2 8-hour paint sessions maybe is what I would probably budget for it. But then again, it really all differs depending on if I'm enjoying painting a certain aspect. Like maybe the wings or something, I'll really get into that. I'll sit there and paint them for like 2 hours and really do them up. But for this big bad boy, I'm thinking somewhere in the range of about 16 hours. And another reason why I'm using the airbrush for painting this guy over a normal brush is because if I was going to do this on stream, I'd have to wait for these layers to dry, and since it comes, the paint is atomized so fine out of the airbrush, I don't have to wait that long for each of the layers to dry. They just will. Sorry, I'm just doing a little bit more tedious work there. But yeah, the layers will dry really quick on an airbrush because the paint is so thin. If you're in a place with really low humidity, especially like in the wintertime when I'm painting, the layers will be dry to the touch in like maybe a minute, and I'll be able to go over it with the next color. Oh yeah, Cracker Barrel craft paint will dry like really fast. It does dry really fast. If you're not really like glopping it on there, it will dry quick. But it also makes your working time on a palette like that much more chaotic. The other thing that's a little bit difficult about working with this particular mini is that the way that it's like, I have to hold it like this. There's no real other good way to hold it and paint it because, as Bill said earlier, the model broke on the way here, like right off its base, and I'm not really sure how to get it back on there. And with it being such kind of an old model and something that's really near and dear to Bill's heart, the last thing I want to do is go damaging it further, trying to get it back on there, and then having, going upside down and left and right with it. I'm being careful with it, but that's it's kind of difficult to paint the entire thing with just like hanging on to one leg. Yeah, sure. Bristle lines and marks in your paint too, which is another advantage to the airbrush there, Sapphire. I'd agree with that. Used egg cartons for the palette. 5 people in the house. We generated a lot of empty egg cartons. What were you using the egg cartons for? Is it like for the palette? Are you talking about like an armature or something that you'd hold it from? Oh, you'd squirt the paint into them. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Alright, palette. Yeah, there's the blonde coming out. A paint palette, not like a palette that you'd put cargo on, or like boxes you would put. Alright, yeah. I was wondering when the blonde was gonna creep out, that's all. And I just found out it was right there and then. Yeah, this is really heavy. I can feel my hands start to cramping up every once in a while, and I've got to readjust my grip on it. Oh yeah. I have a lazy Susan actually, and I don't use it like a ton, but I totally forgot about it when I was packing to like come up here to Duluth, and that kind of I forgot it at home. And I kind of wish I had it now. Alright, that should do it for what I can reach on just doing the red body parts for now. I think I got the most of it here. So we're gonna go on to brightening him up now that he's all dark and dull. Put that sponge. It's heavy. It's like, I don't know what this model weighs, but it feels like after a while it feels like a couple pounds. It's probably a couple ounces at least of lead. It's cast lead, so. Old medicine bottles. I haven't heard of that one before. I would definitely be looking into that though. So that looks like that would be a good cheap way to get yourself some, like, he was thinking, Dungeon Delver was thinking, just something like this little, like, orange juice container lid would be, good to have it and work on it with it. I was like, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like, just a lid to an OJ container or something you could use to, I think this one's, like, the kind that they have for, like, Florida only or whatever it is. Florida's natural. Yeah, I've been liking to use armatures more and more. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it definitely is heavy. I'm gonna get some of this burnt red shaken up, and let's get this dragon even a little lighter. Huh? Another reason why I'm doing it in such an order is even though some of these parts that I've done are even though some of the parts that I've already done here are going to be this brighter red color, some of that darker red is going to be left behind in other areas of the model. I do the whole thing just because I feel like if you put like red over this dark gray, you take a dark red, put it over dark gray, you're going to end up with kind of like a lighter hue or a red hue to it. But when you put a lighter color red over red itself, it's gonna bring out the color even further. So I try and like stay with light colors for doing like shadowing, layering, and highlights. Squirrel Hermit uses spice bottles. Yeah, spice bottles that do it too. That's kind of cool. Kind of cool idea. I like that. We're learning together today. This is a lot of fun. So say, Sapphire, did you have fun in Gamma World the other night? I started listening to it while I was priming up this bad boy. But I caught I didn't get too far through it before I just conked out and had to go to bed. But when I was watching it live, I just kind of caught the tail end, and it sounded like you guys had a really good session. Got little gnats or something in here. All right. Yeah, it sounded like you guys were having a good time. Gonna do a quick rinse. Even if you're into brush painting, these little squirty bottles that are made for tattoo artists, you can get them on Amazon for a couple bucks. They're 500 ml deep, like deep squirt bottles. That sounds absolutely horrific to say, but like it's got the difference is that this has got a straw that goes all the way down to the bottom of the bottle instead of like you'd have to like tilt this and then squirt it, like, so you can hold it straight up and down like this, bring it up to your airbrush, and then just get a nice big squirt of water to clean out your paint cup. Or for like, you know, your brushes too, because that acrylic will end up like getting all the way up by the ferrule or the place where the brush and the metal meet the actual handle. And it'll get up in there, and having just a little bit of water, like directed water with some pressure in it, can sometimes get out huge flecks of paint that you would have, you know, you might have missed while cleaning, or that just got really gunked up in there. So definitely take a look into that if you do a lot of painting, or maybe just need something to clean out your brushes with. It works well for like household paintbrushes too. Like if you're going to be painting a wall, these little squirt bottles will get a lot of gunk out because it's much more directed than just dunking in a bucket and soaking it. Kind of just been my experience with it, but your mileage may vary, friends. Your mileage may vary. I'm just cleaning my airbrush out for the color change here real quick. I'm gonna grab me another. Also, these triangle makeup sponges, not only do they feel great on your skin, they're really good for cleaning out your airbrush, or also what I like to do is I like to use them to plug the needle, and that way I can get I can actually mix the paint in the cup by forcing air back through the device, like through this way, back, and then up into the cup. I can mix the paint that way using the bubbles. And I kind of feel like when I do that, in the back of my head, there's that fish from Finding Nemo that's like, bubble, 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 bubbles. And it makes me happy. Let's see what you guys been talking about. You guys took out Goofy and Donald in Disney World? This sounds great. This sounds like yeah. Okay, so Mickey, Minnie, and Pluto are up next on the hit list, huh? I was wondering if you happen to have any like theater background, because the way Dungeon Minister, because the way that you tell those stories, my friend, you're excellent at doing it. I think what is the proper term? The proper term for somebody who does spoken word theater. I think it's called a thespian. Not sure if that's the right term or not. Please correct me. But you, sir, are a great thespian. If that's, I think that's the term I'm searching for. Oh, okay, yeah, you guys are fighting evil animatronics. Gotcha. See, I absolutely love this hobby because you get to meet so many people into so many different things and hear about all these whacked out stories that like most people would just look at you and ask you if you're on drugs. But in all actuality, no, you're not. You're a role player. This is just something that spawned up in your imagination. Isn't that fun? You know what I mean? It's a wonderful hobby. Oh yeah, no, my sponges, some of them look like they need to be like cared after. They should definitely go to the old sponges home and be treated with a nice happy retirement. And yet I don't. They will work till they die. And I mean like I'll have a triangular one like this. I'll have like a triangular one like this, and eventually when I'm done with it, it looks like just kind of a mashed up thing. It's like some kid rolled out some Play-Doh into a snake or something. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, they get pretty abused. All right. I see your point there, Dungeon Minister. I see your point. That's a fair point to make. Um, it's yeah. All right. But I can really see that skill set being reflected through your recaps, and I like watching them too. They're a lot of fun to watch. Um, and if you guys are interested, go over to RPG Grandma's channel, and it sounds like she had kind of a loss that was a little close to home today. It sounded like to me, and you know, maybe just send her some good vibes or something like that. That's what I said. It's always a tough thing to deal with, and she just reminded everybody to make sure you gave somebody a call or told somebody, you know, that you're thinking about them. Uh, so if you haven't, just go share a little good vibes with her. Yeah, definitely erasers. It's like, you know how people play that Legend of Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom, and they're all doing Korok torture. Well, for me, I do sponge torture on this channel. They'll be they'll be uh, they'll be beaten until morality improves, or their until morale improves. All right. Sorry, just taking a little break from the painting here to get situated with this new color red. So here's a little trick for you. Let me see if I can. There we go. So a little trick if in the future you're ever thinking about doing airbrushing. I'll paint it right on my glove. I handle most of my models with gloves on because I'm doing airbrush work to start with, but I'll handle it with a glove on, and I'll paint against the side of my glove. And the first thing is that I get rid of the amount, like a small amount of the flow improver that's inside at the bottom of the color cup. And I put that in there to keep the needle lubricated as I'm working. But also, when you do that, you can see I've sprayed the previous color in a line in different areas at different like pull lengths, I'm gonna call it, of the trigger, because the trigger goes down to get air, back, and the further back you pull it, the more paint is released from the color cup to the needle to your model. So think of it like a cone that'll get gradually darker and darker as you pull back on that trigger. And I'll spray it in various pullback lengths that I am familiar with, and I'll get to see the different transitions that'll happen depending on how far back I pull the trigger over the previous color. So it's really kind of a cool way to do it. You can do that too with a brush. Just mix your paint and brush it on there over the previous color, and you'll get to see it before you put it on the model, which is really nice. And you'll kind of get an idea like, oh, I actually don't want this color. It's way too obnoxious. I'd rather use this one instead, and I'll just rinse the cup out real quick and sauce the other color in there and blow it out in my disposal pot. So with that being said, also hello to whoever just joined. It looks like we got 4 people watching, so we got 4 hats in the ring so far. We've been streaming for about an hour now. I think maybe in about another, we'll see how many people we can get in another hour, and then I think I'll start taking names for the drawing, and we'll do the drawing shortly after that. And then anybody that wants to stick around for just hanging out as I continue is more than welcome to. I might go for another hour, depending on how much steam I've got left in the tank at that point, for painting and general shenanigans over here on this channel. I'm sorry that I can't give you a better view into the spray booth, but just the way that this is set up, again, it was because you have to have 50 people subscribe to your channel or something like that in order to use your phone to stream, which I think is kind of crazy, because I can put my phone on a stand and I can, tilt it to the side and get it into this, but I can't do it with like a standard laptop, and it's really got me up a wall. But I'm trying to make sure that you see the model after every step. Sure, yeah, we'll wait for you. What's up, Cheeseburger? I think I was, I'm sorry, but I think I ate your brother hamburger for lunch, and my condolences to your kin. Also, Cheeseburger, if you don't know, we're doing a giveaway for Warhammer Underworlds, a 2-player box set kind of board game / model game. You can paint them up if you want to. And we're going to be doing that in roughly an hour, I would suppose. Hey, chicken strips in the oven, it's all about the sauce. You gotta have something in there, that the sauce part of it. That's what's really going to make or break your chicken strips there, Dungeon Minister. Burgers. Thank you, Cheeseburger. I appreciate the candidness. Well, he has moved on to a better place. So we're painting up this this red dragon there, Cheeseburger. Sorry, let me kind of get that. This is a Grenadier model from, I believe it's 40 years old. This model is. It was sent to me by Bill Sylvie, the Dungeon Delver. He's on YouTube too, and you can check out his channel. But this is what we're painting up today, and if you come back another time, you'll get to see the actual studio. I'm on the road right now, so this is the best I could cobble together. But I'm trying to show this guy off after every step that I do. So. Sorry guys, I'm kind of zoning in because I'm working on the top of his head here, and it's kind of the like focal point of this model, and I really don't want to. I want to leave a decent amount of the previous color, so I'm kind of just zoned in here for a minute while I get that done. Yeah, Bill Sylvie over at the Dungeon Delver. Anything old school, that guy has covered. Like, Encyclopedia Britannica of nerd knowledge from old school days. And it's a lot of fun to watch him. Just barbecue tonight, you know, there's something to be said about the classics. I would definitely agree there's something nice about the comfort of your standard barbecue sauce. Also, this guy that's cast in lead, his claws are so sharp, and it's digging into my fingers because I can only hold them from 1 foot while I'm doing this. It's not a very kind model on the good old phalanges. let's get a little, we'll get a little reveal here for what we have going on. Alright. So, I'm not sure if you can tell, but the red color here has kind of gotten a bit lighter in parts. Yeah, come on. Left is right and right is left. But some of the colors are starting to come out here as we're working through this. You might not be able to see it. Might not be able to see it so well through this camera, but it is subtly changing on the model here. Under his head is a little darker. Under his teeth are a little darker, and then the top of his head is getting the lightest, or is getting the most amount of the red. And let's see here. There we go. That's a little better. Could leave Lysol wipes on the porch for when she gets home. Huh. Yeah. I wonder who Al is. That's a good question. Alright, so I think we're done with that color for now. I'm gonna have to go get myself another cup, or maybe just throw it out here in a minute. This the color cup's getting a little, the disposal cup's getting a little full here. Let's see, what time is it? Alright, so we just passed the 1 hour mark. Another to go before that drawing. I'm excited about that. It's going to be fun to see who ends up walking away with a free board game. Alright. Get that sprayed out of there. And next, we're going to be going on with with this really obtrusive, almost orange red as a highlight. This isn't really, it looks orange in the camera to me, but it's a lot oranger, but it's like a really hardcore fire engine red, and we're going to use that for our highlights. Also, it looks like I need to change my gloves. He's torn into my gloves already, so we'll knock that out real quick. Do you guys have any favorite models? Like, even if it's just like, I really like seeing models of gnomes or something. You know what I mean? Do you have any favorite miniatures? Or, if you're really specific and you're like, yeah, I really like this specific company's such and such. Like, do you have any favorite models that you've seen in gaming? Or just, I guess, otherwise too? Could even be like aircraft and stuff. I really appreciate the freehand artwork on people's like B-17 models and stuff from World War II. I think that stuff's really cool. I think one of my first models that I ever tried painting was a Corsair, like the aircraft, Corsair. Uh, the I think it's a Douglas. I think Douglas made the Corsair. But yeah, the that was my first ever model, and I really liked the look of that aircraft. I thought it was really cool. Red dragons are chaotic, of course. If you didn't want them attacking your glove, you should have painted them gold. Yeah, right, right, exactly. Um, Speaking of dragons, Dungeon Minister, I'm happy you're here because I want to ask this. I have seen, like, at my local game shop, there's, like, they have, like, a bronze dragon, like a young bronze dragon, like a gold dragon, an adult silver dragon, and, like, all of the sculpts are different, but, like, if you just got a white primed dragon, is there any like super telling differences between these dragons that would be like, oh yeah, no, that's definitely a bronze dragon painted as a gold dragon, but we all kind of know it's bronze. Like, is there any like telling factors with that? Because I was kind of like, man, these would be really cool practice models, and I kind of want to pick one up. Do I have to paint it silver or like, do some type of non-metallic metal to it if I picked up a silver dragon, or does it, can I paint it any color I please and it's like, oh, it's just a dragon? I suppose to like the more experienced gamers of us, would they be able to pick that out? Not so much, the less experienced, such as myself. Let me get this red in the shaker. We're gonna truck on here. Okay, so they're based on illustrations in the fifth edition books. Okay, well, that makes sense. Okay, so people, you know, I suppose most gamers probably wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. Anyways, it's just like, oh, that's a cool dragon. All right. Okay, so they do have some like telling qualities. I guess it really have to depend on the play group that you were a part of, because if you've got a lot of like really experienced gamers or something, they might be able to tell. I don't know. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Let's get new pair of gloves. Might be older than 5e. I don't know how old. Beckme had very few dragon illustrations beyond the covers. Okay, alright. So there is, the story is starting to come together. So they're based off of illustrations. They have, like, most of the, more modern gaming books, I guess, have illustrations of these different types of dragons. But, like, the older ones if you could get your hands on a model dragon, you were just happy to have a model dragon to use in your uh, use in your on your tabletop for your role playing, I suppose. Man. Got the squeaky gloves going because my hands got so wet in that other pair from holding that thing in such a way. It's not working out as well as I thought it would, but hey, that's today's stream in a nutshell. For at least on the technical side of stuff. All right, let's get some more red on this guy. Start making him pop. This is where the rubber meets the road, my friends. Is right here in the highlighting stages. Okay, got it. Got it. Well, thank you guys for chiming in and setting the record straight on the dragon conundrum in my mind. Appreciate that. And, let's see. I'm not sure where you're based out of, Dungeon Minister, but if the shipping is relatively low cost, I'll send you some skeletons, man. I'll paint up some skeletons on stream and we can send them out to you. I don't think I'll be sending anything to Australia anytime soon, but if you're in Europe or closer, we'll see if we can get you some skeletons. If you want them, that is. So now we've got this color red going on here. It's pretty... I'm not sure how to get that white balance any better, but... we're sticking even brighter red on it now, folks. Yeah, but I mean, it's not that bad. Dungeon Minister was just saying that he was from Canada, and yeah, the shipping can be expensive to Canada, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. Hello from Minnesota, your southerly neighbor. So I don't think shipping is going to be that bad if it's coming just from the states right below you, maybe. you moved up there in 2004 from good old Wisconsin. From good old Wisconsin. Well, howdy from our neighbors across the bridge. Just a little, see if I can get that light out of the way. It's a little update for you on what we got going. As you can see, kind of towards maybe the back of his neck, you can kind of see the darker colors coming out again. On the lower parts of his scales. It's kind of what I'm looking for, trying to make some shadows and contrasts on him so far. Oh, another Wisconsinite in the house too. All right. I'm glad to see the Packers are represented quite well in the stream. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'll take a pat on the back for the Vikings from a Wisconsinite any day of the week. I appreciate your condolences. It's very sincere. Oh, that's cool that you bring your youngest out to play Dungeons and Dragons over there. That's really cool. Okay. Okay. Hey, what's going on, Todd? Good to see you. Glad you're here. I think we can do we'll do another quick little update so far on the Mini. Kind of running a stream with technical difficulties today. So we're having to use just your standard laptop 720p, I think this is. But this is what we got going so far. Trying to bring the highlights out in now, I should say, from the, if I can manage to make it all work here. So yeah, he's just kind of getting his highlight pass done. Be very careful here as I rotate him. There we go. So as you can see, we're getting some color transition in there. over the course of time. Yeah, I was gonna say until I watched Bill's stuff, I didn't know anything was going on with you. I'm happy to hear it was just something not too crazy. Yeah, it was like I was sitting there listening to nothing but a hound dog for about a half hour, and I was totally out. I was talking to Toddy as a really funny story about meeting a Norwegian Elvis, and if you haven't heard it, it's worth a sit and listen. Well, hey there, Todd. You're always welcome here. If the downstairs doesn't want you, the upstairs doesn't want you. You know what? Well, you're always welcome here. It's all about little it's all about little tips and tricks there, Dungeon Minister. Like, it's all stuff that I've kind of picked up along the way. And honestly, most of it is just is just stuff like, get another light, there we go. Most of it is just stuff I picked up along the way, like getting shadows, start off with a gray, and especially with like the airbrush, if you're doing this with a regular brush, prime this thing in white and just start off, you can go darker over white, but it's harder to come back from dark to a lighter color over like black or something with a brush than it is with an airbrush, because the airbrush puts out such a fine spray, and the fact that it dries so quickly between coats, because you're still pushing air onto the model too, so it's getting a lot of the moisture out fast. But the fact that you can put those layers on so rapidly, you can go from dark to a light shade really fast if you're not careful. So, which is why most of the time my finger is only moving just like that much. It's really ridiculous, but you can put on a coat, an entire new coat of paint really fast on this, and starting off with a dark color, you can make some incredible shadows that'll pop out in your model. I appreciate the compliment. That's very kind of you. I really appreciate that. But you know what? I enjoy painting. I try to be the best that I can be for myself. And if you think that's incredible, well, I really appreciate it. So now we got some highlights on the guy. I just realized here that I kind of missed a spot. Okay, alright. ADD taken care of. So now that we got some highlights on him in our red color, and I'll probably be taking care of this off stream, but one of his legs, the leg that I'm holding on to, I'm going to have to paint at some point, but I really want the what we're doing here, which is the majority of the model, to get painted first before I do that. So we're about a half hour away from doing the giveaway drawing, or at least getting set up for it. I'm just going to get this guy all cleaned out and ready to go for starting on his wings, which I'm gonna be doing in a totally different color. That's clean enough for me. Dick boy, the Viking beard. You should have seen it. You should have seen it a while ago, man. If you go back and look at some of my older live streams, I had a thing going, man. It was getting outlandish, and I just it gets itchy on me, and I'm not much for beard maintenance, so I just, once it gets like about that long, I just right off. Well, no, I don't rip it off. That'd be really painful, but I'll shave it off and get it off my face. Mm. So I'm just kind of taking a look at this base that Bill custom printed for this dragon. I'm trying to figure out a way how I'm going to paint this guy. Looks mostly like a stone, like slate tile floor, which is already gray to begin with. It's got some cracks in there. and a massive pile of gold, like a Scrooge McDuck. Like, if you were to make a picnic basket, it would probably be filled with about this much gold. It's not a Scrooge McDuckian vault worth of gold, but it's definitely a Scrooge McDuck takeout bag of gold on the base here. So I'm thinking we'll probably end up doing some source lighting on that, or we'll do it with the airbrush because that'll leave us with kind of a shimmer on the floor, you know, kind of thing. And for the stones, I guess we can try and like maybe do some dry brushing to highlight the raised areas, and then we'll do the coins that are on there in gold as well. All right, well, say fill your gullet, and we'll see you in a little bit there, Dungeon Minister. Thanks for hanging out with us. What else we need? We need some like skin tones. So let's start. I'm going to start sorting through my paint here. We went through burgundy, we went through burnt red, and we went through that red. That's all purples and browns. I'm definitely going to need this golden brown for... I want the dark one, actually. Umber... Yeah, dark golden brown, and we'll do golden, maybe golden brown. We'll figure it out later. But I definitely want the dark golden brown for his, you know, like his, the scales that go across the belly of it. Oh, that's a good idea, Todd. I'm almost thinking like I should do like almost like a green, like in my mind when you said like a dwarven stronghold, I was thinking like almost like some kind of emerald green, not that flashy, but like a worn down emerald green kind of color palette. You know what I mean? Some very dark green colors. I don't know why dwarves conjure up dark green, but there it is. We don't need metallics yet. Here we go. Let's start with Shadow Flesh. It'll give us a little bit of dark pink. We'll go with a... Actually, I think it wasn't even pink at all. I want to say in the cover art. I don't even think it was pink. It was more like a yellow, and then like a whiter yellow for the wings. So I think that's probably where we're gonna head first with the wings here. I'm glad to have the Todd seal of approval on that one. There we go. I'm just waiting for my hands to dry out because I've had them gloved up for about an hour and a half now, and they're starting to stick inside the gloves. I also think it's time for another brew break. Or whatever your drink of choice is. You know, maybe it's time to grab you a refill or something. Come back in a minute or two if you need to. It's always good to get up and move around and do a clot check. Alright, I'm going to go do that. I'll be back in just a minute here. Alright, here we are with the drink of choice. We got from Moose Lake Brewing Company, the Not Bumper Mango Blonde from Moose Lake. There's also a soda company that's from Minnesota here. That's really good. And if I remember what it's called, I'll make sure to share it with you because they have some really killer soda. All right. So we're digging the Dwarven Stronghold kind of greenish color palette. We're about to put some skin tone on his wings. I'm going to be really careful of overspray. I should actually go get my secret weapon real quick too. Bring the whole dang bucket over. Let's see here. All right, so let's take a gander. And gandering. Here we go. All right, so here's the secret weapon for any person that's getting into airbrushing. Yeah, dorm fridges for sure. We got the garage fridge for all the brews. But here's the secret weapon, right from the local list of toy stores. You can get yourself a red egg, and guess what's inside? Todd, do you know this egg? Do you know this egg pretty well? I bet you know this egg pretty well. What's in the egg there, Tonka Todd? I'm just wondering. It's a red egg. It's 2 parts. What's inside of the red egg from your local toy store? It's probably the cheapest thing in there. Well, if you haven't guessed it, inside the 2-part red egg, nothing but silly putty. This is like the best masking material I have found for airbrushing and doing like model work because it barely sticks onto the model, but it'll stick on enough that you can use it, like roll it out or smush it in your fingers and turn it into a very thin piece of masking. Put it all over. Yeah, silly putty. He knew. You knew. I just saw that comment roll in, but I bet it was, yeah, you know. But yeah, you can mush this up, stick it on the model, and you won't wreck the paintwork underneath it. It doesn't cling on that much. And if you need to take it off from very tough to reach areas that you've kind of like molded it into, all you got to do is take a bigger piece and just like smack up in there, and you'll end up getting the little bits out that you had masked previously. So I tend to get this guy warmed up prior to putting it on the model. And what I'll do after that is I'll kind of squish it into a sheet and take little bits off of it and get it onto the places I need it to go. And I'm kind of stalling here too because I put a lot of that red color on there, and I really want it to be at least tacky before I do this because some of it can come off if it is too wet. Usually I'd be doing this in about another 10 minutes or so, but just for the sake of time, I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit and try and get it done earlier. So this is about the thickness, maybe, it's probably the thickness of Hardy cardstock or something that I've got it to now. Really, really easy squeezy. I heard one guy talking about using silly putty to do something with automotive, like painting automotive parts or something like that at one point, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I should try that for models. And then found this, and that was kind of where it all came together. I think there's definitely other people that have found the same solution, though. It's out there. Although, here's the hard part, is getting the little tail ends to break off. Because it just likes to be silly. There we go. Alright. So we got ourselves a nice little bit of silly putty. I'm going to get my gloves back on, because I don't want to leave fingerprints in the paint, and the gloves will stop you from leaving them in there. All right, sounds good. We'll see you when you get back, Todd. Hey, hey, welcome to whoever just joined. We're painting a red dragon from that was cast about 40 years ago for Bill Sylvie over at the Dungeon Delver and his channel. And we've just kind of been shooting the breeze over here, and as I'm kind of painting this guy up, I'm not in the regular studio this week, so we've had a little bit of a different camera angle and some technical stuff along the way, but welcome. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We're also doing a giveaway here very shortly. Probably going to be doing it, putting people's names in, starting at about the 2 hour mark is what I'm kind of thinking of doing here. And the giveaway item, by the way, is going to be a copy of Warhammer Underworlds, the 2-player starter set. It's a boxed board game. It's got some models in there. You can make the models. You can get some supplies and paint the models. You can watch my streams and stuff and learn how to paint these guys like a pro with a brush or with an airbrush, whatever you gotcha. But yeah, it's you can literally just take this out of the box and play with it. All the models are like snap fit models, so pretty easy to put together. And it looks like a lot of fun. I picked this up just because Warhammer was what I started with, and wanted to give back. So you get some cool stuff in here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy all taped up so I can do his wings. That is going to be really difficult. I'm trying to get like the masking part of this around his wing, and it's proving to be a little bit difficult. Hey, hey. It's funny how, we humans, digesting is the most entertaining thing. You get all the good endorphins or what have you. I'm just trying to mold. This looks disturbing, but this is basically the process. You're gonna wrap his arm like a cast or something, and that way your overspray from the airbrush doesn't get onto his arm that you've so thoughtfully been doing up for the past hour or whatever have you. Well, I mean, could you imagine trying to do this with like any kind of tape or something? It's ridiculously hard to do it with that, and it's just tacky enough that it won't take your paint job off, and it's really pliable. You can get into a ton of nooks and crannies. So yeah, I think honestly, like a lot more painters should know about that trick. It's a really good one. It's not a tumor. Who's your daddy and what does he do? So again, if you ride the water rides and you're wearing that poncho. I made too big of a piece. I don't need all that covered. Another thing that I've kind of thought about investing in for my little paint studio here is some like sculpting tools, because I use this silly putty so often that some like some toothpicks or something, not toothpicks, but some like actual sculpting tools. There's like for like clay, I think would be super handy for this process, because I have hot dogs stuck to baseballs for hands, and yeah, it's not great for very high precision tactile work. I end up having to try and use more silly putty to make that happen. Okay, go with that. A couple more pieces, and we should be taped up to start on the wing section. Grilled chicken and mashed potatoes. You're making me hungry now. Is what's going on. I love some good grilled chicken though. Grilled chicken is really good. Don't get me wrong. Fried chicken is a miracle some days, but ooh, in the summertime, that grilled chicken come calling, and it's almost impossible to resist. My dad recently got a new smoker for Father's Day, and I think I kind of want to ask him to smoke up a chicken, like some chicken. I think smoked chicken sounds really good. I don't know why, but well, I know why. They said that they had smoked turkey breast on it, and it came out really well. And to be honest, I kind of want to try that, but I'm a bit more particular though to chicken. And I want to try me some smoked chicken. Hey, hey, cheeseburger. Before you go, I guess I can stick your name in the drawing if you want to. Otherwise, yeah, we'll stick cheeseburger in the drawing. Come back and watch this video later on when you're done, or whatever, you know. Ooh, drink smoker. Now that sounds classy. I feel like I need a cigar for that. All right. I'm gonna do a couple of masking pieces around his head. I can fix the rest of him pretty good, but I've been really working on his head. So I'm gonna just get some of that taped up before I start spraying everywhere. Well, so far we only have about 5 people in the drawing. I've seen Sapphire's been in here. Dungeon Minister's been in here. Sapphire, Dungeon Minister, Cheeseburger, and Todd have all been people I've seen chatting in here. I haven't seen anybody else chatting in the chat here. Oh yes, please send some pictures. Send some pictures. I love it. All right, I'm gonna get this warm flesh going in the shaker. We're gonna put that on, and then I think it should be just about that time to get some names in some kind of random spinning wheel generator. and we'll do that. Actually, I may as well start researching that now because we're only a couple of minutes out from the 2 hour mark. Yeah, I suppose it's Saturday night. I'm sure everybody's kind of out on the club or doing whatever it is that young folks do these days. I I keep off the streets through painting miniatures. That's my excuse. I don't know what people my age do now. So, ooh, that is good. Having not bumper mango blonde today from Moose Lake Brewing. Um, I'm just researching well, the wheel generator here, so we can make a wheel. All right, here we go. All right. If I can, yeah, technology is having a real love-hate relationship with me today. I think it's the gloves. I keep stripping gloves left and right, but let's get that on one side and OBS on the other. And then I'll see if I can somehow get my screen on here for you guys to see the results. All right. So we have Dungeon Minister. All right. Parents making dinner. I suppose. Yeah, I maybe could have slotted this for a little later in the day and got more viewers going. Let's see here. Tonka Todd. Can oh boy. Sapphire. Gonna try and pronounce that one again. Cheeseburger. And yeah, that seems like it's been the party so far. Yeah. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking like, you made a really good point. Everybody's in here making dinner. I wonder if I shouldn't give it more time. Just give everybody a chance. What do you guys say? Do you want more competition or less? It's up to you. I guess I could, I've got everybody's name in the wheels so far that's been in here. We can either, okay. I appreciate that, Sapphire. Did you shared it to James's Discord channel? Is that what you're saying? I think I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna try and get on another layer of. I'm gonna get the skin tone on the wings here. Definitely, Todd. Okay. I don't. What did you do, Todd? Did you? Both Dungeon Minister and Sapphire in here calling after you. Todd, Todd. I bet you get that a lot. I really appreciate how supportive you guys have been, though. Um, to be really honest, it's you know starting up one of these things is it's a little intimidating at first. It's not um, you know a little intimidating, but having people at your back that are really rooting for you kind of helps out and uh, keeps the morale up. Okay, all right. I stay in trouble just as God intended. All right, yeah, yeah, no, I would, yeah, okay. Doomsword is definitely in there. Um, who else have I had? Oh, hey, what's up, Doomsword? I'm glad to have you here. I stuck your name in for the drawing. It's on the spinning wheel generator. I'm just gonna see if I can actually somehow get that to come on the screen here. Um, browser. Okay. So I take this. Yeah, no, we're gonna. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to figure out how to do a screen share real quick here. While I get. That way, everybody knows it's legit. I don't want to just. Da, 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 da. Nope. Not that either. Well, ain't that fun? Kind of train wrecking the stream here, but we'll get it figured out. Let's see here. Window capture. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Field generator. Alright. So I'm going to take this guy and we're going to put it... Make it a little smaller. Put it off to the side where it can be a little bit inconspicuous. And as names pop on, we'll... Hey, what's up, RPG Grandma? I was just talking about you. I saw your video, and I'm not sure who you lost, but I put a little comment on there and I wanted to say I'm sending you good thoughts and good vibrations your way. So I know that can be a tough thing to go through, but just thinking about you today is all. So hope you're doing well and welcome to the stream. We're painting Bill Sylvie's Red Dragon. Unfortunately, I've got him masked up to do the wings, so it's less of a dragon, more of a blob at this point. But I've done some of the shading on his body and as well as some of the red highlights on him. But yeah, he kind of looks like a blob monster right now. Because I'm going to be going through and doing his wings here in just a couple of minutes. Yeah, right. It's honestly that wheel generator is really good. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Grandma. That's classy, good people are hard to find, and when you lose them, it really is tough. So yeah. But hey, you know what I really did like? I was out here in the garage last night. I'm on the road, so this is my normal studio. But I was out in the garage last night, and I was listening to just kind of some of the end of Gamma World from Bill Sylvie, and I went and watched your video on the Dungeoneer's Guide. You did like a kind of an overview of the Dungeoneer's Guide, and I really liked that. I thought that was a really comprehensive video that you did there. Um, and what else? I watched that, and I watched one of your car talks from from your lives. That was kind of fun. I watched a little bit of that, and then I wandered over to Dungeon Minister's channel, and I was blown away by his recap of his party's adventures. He does a really good job with those things. If you haven't seen his, I'm sure you've seen his stuff, but if you haven't seen his stuff, for everybody else, you should go check it out. It's hilarious. It's he's got a lot of like effects and stuff he puts in there. It's very entertaining. Um, but yeah, good job on that one, Grandma, and keep it going. All right, Grandma, you're entered into the drawing on the wheel generator here. Sorry, that's just my obnoxiously loud uh, nail lacquer shaker. This guy shakes all my paints for me. It's like it's got a little rotaty bit on here. Well, it's not really a rotaty, but it just shakes back and forth really fast. And I am sad to say I'm the only person in the house that has a nail lacquer shaker, even though I live with a person of the opposite gender. And I use it for paint. It shakes up these bottles at like a million revolutions a second, and it makes the paint really good. The consistency of the paint gets mixed well, really well. Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, thanks for coming to the stream, B. That's Sarah's coming in the stream. She's my significant other and also our social media person. She's really good at Instagram, and she's gonna be running some Instagram stuff for us. But since we live in the same house, I don't think I'm gonna put you in the drawing, B, because I can go get another one for us later on if you want. Okay, I'll tell hubby I need that for our paint. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's really cheap. RPG Grandma. It's really cheap. Like go on Amazon. I think you can get it for like 15, 20 bucks max with shipping. Like, and it'll save your wrists, especially for like people that have a hard time with like gripping stuff. Like my like uh it just it saves your wrists so much. Um, and especially if you're going to be sitting down and doing this for a couple hours at a time, like me, who's kind of a tryhard. Um, But you know, if you're doing it for a long period of time, it'll really save your wrists. Um, and especially after handling this dragon, which has just been, because I have to hold it by 1 foot and the claws are digging into my fingers and it's making like gripping stuff really hard to do because I'm holding onto it with just like a chicken foot. Um, yeah. The foundation for the show. I couldn't agree more, Sissy. I couldn't agree more. So, hello, hello. I think my dad's probably watching too. He's inside, and I think he's got this on in the background somewhere. Um, Gotten a lot of love from the fam for the show. This is a brand new bottle of paint. No wonder it won't come out, folks. All right, let me just get that open. Well, first off, let me thank everybody for coming, and especially the long haul truckers that have been in here since the beginning of the stream at 4. Thank you very much for being here. It's awesome to have you. Not a lot of people, not a lot of people get folks that come back for something like this, and it's just awfully nice. So I appreciate it. Field stripping paint for soccer fields. Holy man, okay. Yeah, huh. I can't help you. I don't think a nail polish shaker is gonna help you with soccer field paints or like parking lot paints, but you can sure go ahead and give it a shot. I don't think it'll do much. So the way I've kind of been running this so far, because YouTube, until you have 50 subscribers on your channel, you can't use your phone to stream. And it really got me irked up because, like, I was thinking, all right, I saw there was a feature that you could stream on your phone. I looked into it on, like, Google. I was like, hey, I can just take my phone with me to on the road. And once I get to where I'm going, I'll stream there. And I've got my phone on an arm here. I can just position it inside the spray bay, and you know, you guys can watch me paint this model, like, but from closer up, so you can see all the nice, pretty transitions and details and stuff. And I couldn't do it because I don't have 50 people, and so I kind of had to resort to the laptop that I found hanging around here. So that's kind of what we got to use. So what I've been doing is after I'm done doing every step here, I've been taking the model out and showing kind of the changes that happen over time. So you're not really going to be able to see them in real time, but my hope is that you're kind of going to get the idea as we keep going through the major steps. Yeah, I know the whole gamification of that thing. It's and not only that, but like it really makes you, you know, for me this is a passion project. I don't wanna go out there and be the like and subscribe guy. That's just really not my style. Like if you like what I'm doing and you want to learn more, I'm welcoming and inviting you to come and hang out with me and see how I do things. And I want to see what you paint or your favorite models and stuff, but. You know, I'm not here to I'm not really here to shill out for that kind of stuff. If you like it, you like it. I'm happy you do. But there's already too many people out there that their whole like first 5 minutes of their videos are like, here's my like button, hit the like button and the subscribe button, and here's my Patreon, the buy me a coffee, and here's my Cheetos bag fund, and here's a GoFundMe for my future endeavors, and I mean, yeah, you got to get out there, but you know, it's just like, every single avenue there, and it goes on and on and on, and then you get your tidbit of information. Where I'd rather just give you the information. If you like it, you already know what to do. There's 100 people out there that are training you how to hit the little button and the little bell thing. I don't really need to be that guy, but you know what? I'll definitely tell people to go and follow their heart. And if you like watching, role playing stuff, you like watching painting stuff, go out there and support other creators by doing those things. And it helps them out. If it's a passion project that they want to do, I'm gonna shut off the big noisy wind tunnel here for a second. But if it's a passion project that they like doing, consider doing that for them, and they'll really like that. Oh, jeez. Well, I'm not gonna say no to a little advertising, but I appreciate your efforts, guys. So we're getting a little bit of this kind of flesh shade color. That's pretty similar to the box art that I'm following for this red dragon, and this is going to go on the wings here. John Walker, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm gonna stick your name here in the Wheel of Fortune, and try and not get paint all over this laptop that's not mine. John Walker, you're in there. You're on the screen. Congratulations. Right. Here's another little bit of a lesson time for you. If you're an airbrush painter, you'll get tip dry, and what happens is over the course of time the paint will build up. You get a nice little gooey goodad that'll be on the front of this thing. Take your makeup sponge, and you got to be really careful depending on how quality your airbrush is. This one is about a $40 Chinese cheap rip-off of a Iwata Eclipse, I think. And you just kind of scrape the edge of this sponge on that needle. I'm going to put a little water on here, try and get it to eat that, and then I'm going to kind of go in here and try and get that little bit of tip dry with the needle. Because I'm starting to see a lot of splattering, and that cleaned it right up. Now I'm right back onto a nice fine needle point for my needle point of paint that I can get out of this thing. Hey, you know what? I'm happy. I'm real happy about it. It's been a steady stream of people checking in, and it's been really nice. Hey, you know what? But I'm sure, maybe you got somebody that might be interested, John. Like, maybe you got a little, some family member, or younger kid down the block, or somebody. You could pass it on. You wanted to, or maybe the farm next door would like a copy for their board game nights, their family or whatever. There's nothing like spreading the gift of game, in my opinion. Or hey, you could even donate it to Toys for Tots or something during Christmas time. You could do that too. I wonder where Uncle Brat is. Oh yeah, for sure. Love wins, you know, spread the joy. All those sayings are a-okay by me. Here's our result for the color on the wings. It's kind of a very off-white color that we're putting on there. I'm just slowly building this up as we go. Sorry, I'm having to be really careful on the overspray on these, so I'm losing track of the chat a little bit. Man, holding a couple ounces of lead in your hand like this is kind of taxing. Just like the substitute teacher at school, right, Dungeon Minister? He's distracted! Everybody party! Yeah, that's a good point, John. I could paint this up any color I really wanted, but I talked with Bill and I said, hey man, what do you want for this mini? And he said he wanted it to kind of be the retro box art that they've got on there. So I'm kind of just following that as a template. And but I have artistic freedom on the base. And I was talking with Todd earlier, and he was like, "Man, what if it was like a dwarven stronghold or something? You know, like the floor was something like that, real fancy." And I was like, I think fancy's all right, but I'd really like it to be like a dwarven stronghold, but like it's been the dragon's been there for like a long time. So I want it to be like really weathered. So I'm gonna do like a really muted green color palette for the dungeon tiles that are on the base that Bill custom 3D printed for this thing. But the dragon, I'm just going after the box art for it for the most part. And I've thrown in my own. I'm gonna throw in my own flair with some different highlighting techniques and stuff in the future. Oh yeah, for sure. We based this thing in like a magenta, almost, and threw red over it. It looks really pretty with the naked eye, but unfortunately, with the webcam that I've got, I'm not sure if it's really picking up on all the colors I'm putting on it. With the dwarf skeleton crushed under his feet. Yeah, you guys want to... Let's check out the base real quick. My hand needs a break from holding 4 or 5 ounces of lead. It's really heavy. I'm not gonna lie. Like this whole thing, that dragon is heavy. This was the base that Bill had custom 3D printed. Let me just, yeah, there we go. It's so there's a post in the middle here, and that busted it off during shipping. But here's the base that he 3D printed out of resin. And so I'm thinking kind of that muted green color palette would look really kind of cool with these kind of flagstone looking things, I think. And then I'm just going to overspray a little bit with the airbrush when it comes time to get the gold on the coins and make it kind of look like they're glowing. It's called source lighting, I believe, for like terminology or whatever, that way. But yeah, from the source you kind of just make like a ring around it, but you want it to be hazy, fuzzy. It's like a Gaussian blur. You want it to be a little blurry. And that kind of implies the casting of light out of an object or reflecting off of others. Yeah, definitely. I'll stick a dead space marine on there for Bill. I'm not, but that would be really funny. I think he would laugh pretty good at that. Um, the base looks like Seattle. Yeah, I've gone to Seattle. The base does kind of look like something from Seattle. I would agree with that. Um, well, we're trying not to make the cover of the Little Mermaid from the old VHS boxes. That's where the dragon sits there, Doomsword, is that little peg in the middle that might be looking reminiscent of the Little Mermaid cover there. Wait for when it's used in Gamma World. Yeah, right. For sure. For sure. Alright, guys, I'm going to keep trucking on these wings here. I'm going to try and get that done before I run out of steam. I wonder if Sarah's still in here. Maybe she can tell us how her two bunnies are doing at home. We got two little bunnies, little dwarf bunnies. We got one looks like kind of cookies and cream, white with black. The other one's kind of white with brown, and we have Honeydew and Moose. The names. Yeah. Anybody else have pets at home? If you've ever called into a significant other or maybe something like that, and you're on speakerphone, and the dog's ears will perk up, or the cat will start looking around. Our bunnies do the same thing when we're away from home. Yeah, they're literal bunnies. We have two bunnies at home. They're just free roam like dogs or cats, and they just kind of run around and they're trained. They go in a I built them a little like barn, but it also doubles as like it's got a little shelf underneath it for their bunny droppings and a graded floor on top. And they go in there. That's what they do. It's hilarious to watch them run around. They're fun. What's really sad is most people like, especially around Easter, there's a huge influx of rabbits at like pet shelters because people will go and buy them as like Easter gifts, and then like within a month there's like a bunch of bunnies that are in there. It's really sad. Um, but if you're ever looking for a really good pet that doesn't bark, that's pretty low maintenance, and is just cuter than snot and lovable, like we've had bunnies in the past that have just beg for attention and cuddles and whatnot. You know, you're looking for a good pet, get yourself a rabbit. 3 cats, a dog, a guinea pig, and a fish. Chickens and dogs. Oh, I want some chickens, RPG Grandma. We want to have chickens at some point in our lives. We want to have little chickens. Dungeon Minister has were bunnies at home. Good luck with that. I hope you brought a silver bullet. Little little marbles. Yeah, it's definitely good for gardening. All right, let's check out how these wings are doing. So we're just getting to the base coat stage of this guy. Um, it looks like I'm going to need to get a little bit more on there for full coverage, but that's kind of going to be the color for just the fleshy bits of the wings in between. I'm going to have to go in there with a brush and brush the red onto the kind of, I guess, phalanges, I'm going to call them, of the wing. Going to have to go and do that by hand probably. carefully put you down. Oh, wow, okay. That's a big aquarium. Hmm. Thanks, B. Hmm. Sure, yeah. Yeah, the membrane, the webbing. There, we're using, yeah, the webbing bits in between the actual, like, fingers. Here we go. Membranes, webbing, whatever you want to call it. Um, Looks like I'm going to need even more paint than I thought I was gonna for that. So we'll have to mix up some more. Oh, what are we doing on stream time here? We're going on 2 hours 30 minutes. Let's see if we can't get another couple people coming in here at within the next 30 minutes. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, all you gotta do is go ahead and chat, and if you want to, sauce your name in the subscription, or do the subscription thing. So Doom Sword's asking, you guys can see it in the chat here, but just for anybody in the future, Doom Sword's asking, why do you prefer airbrush over spray can for these phases, and how much work does it take to get used to the airbrush? This is assuming that you spray canned it previously. So the let's tackle that one at a time. Why do I prefer using an airbrush over a spray can for this? So first of all, living in a colder climate, doing like priming is usually what you'd use a spray can for. So like in a colder climate, the humidity also fluctuates a lot during the seasons too. So being cold and having variable humidity does not make for great conditions to use like rattle can primers, and sometimes you can get like really adverse results or like really large splotchy spray patterns out of a rattle can. So I tend to kind of avoid those. It's great like if you're doing kind of batch painting. I'll definitely rattle can those because I'm not going to sit here forever to do a 60 guys or whatever with just the airbrush to prime. If it's in the winter though, I don't really have a choice. I have to use the airbrush because airbrush paints, you're mixing it and spraying it out at a pretty quickly, and usually those paints are more designed to have less of a specific envelope, I would say, of conditions that you'd have to meet to use it. So you can spray it at any time of the year. Also, airbrushing for doing things like the wings here. If I was going to just put this on with a brush, yes, it'd probably be quicker, but I'd have to go through more coats to get to like an opacity that I want, because the airbrush, when it's coming out of the gun, it's getting like kind of atomized, or the molecules are very small of the paint, and it's getting put on that model so rapidly and drying so quickly that I can reach that opacity faster than I can with a brush. Also, I'm doing this model mostly with the airbrush because for like pieces like this that are show pieces, I really don't want to have brush strokes, like brush marks on the model. I want it to look like this is a straight up organic creature. And airbrushing allows you to get effects like that because your eye will naturally not be able to pick out the illusion of brush marks on it. When you're looking at it really close up, or like if you're handing this off to a judge at a paint competition, if you have the less paint, stroke marks that you have on it, the better. I've seen people use stuff like this flow improver or like airbrush paint thinners to kind of used as a surfactant. That's kind of what this is. It's a surfactant, yeah. That is what this is. It's like sterile, not sterile water, but like, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Distilled water with glycerin and like soap. Like there's actual soap in here, but it's a kind of a specialized soap. But you can make this stuff at home. You could if you wanted to. I just choose to buy it in a big old bottle because I'm lazy. And the when you mix it in with some of the paint, if you're going to do this for brushes, you can mix it in with the paint on your palette and then put it on the model. And the paint, by the time it's dry, it'll have evened out because of the surfactant nature of the flow aid or flow improver that you're using. And it gives you a real clean result. So if you know how to thin your paints properly, and I think I've maybe gone over that on the live stuff at one point. I'll have to do it again in the future. But if you thin your paints properly with some flow aid and a little water, you can eliminate brush strokes out of your painting. The other part of that question, how much work does it take to get used to an airbrush? I'd say about 10 hours, 10 to 15 hours. You won't have an issue using it. If you take a look at the live streams that I've done in the past, you mix paint in the cup. You can mix it in the cup by backflowing the airbrush. So basically, like, you've got, this is the end the paint comes out of, this is the cup that the paint comes out of, and you put your paint in there, and you basically take the needle and you can plug it with like a sponge or something. This one has an odd cap to it, but there's other ones where you can literally just take your finger, stick it in there, and then you pull back, push down on the trigger to get air, pull back, and you'll mix the paint right in the cup. So like it makes your painting really efficient, and it's kind of nice. I'm gonna do it right now to try and show you and clean it out. But I'm just taking this little triangle makeup sponge. I'm going to stick it in there, like right on the top. I'm not going to drive it into the needle, but I'm just going to use the flat end, stick it over the front of this thing, and I'm going to make bubbles in the cup. It looks like milk in there now, but I'm going to make bubbles in the cup, and essentially what I'm doing is just sending the air from the needle back into the color cup so that I can flush it, and all of the paint that's coming out of there was from the inside body of the airbrush. So you start picking up tips like that, within about 15 hours, you've got yourself, you're going to be good to go on painting whatever you need for an airbrush. And after that, it's just practice. You can get these things to paint lines that are incredibly small, which is really nice. And I didn't spray can this model. For priming it. I primed it with an airbrush, and it's a bit more work because you have to kind of maneuver the model around, whereas a spray can is kind of like a shotgun. This is more like a shotgun with an incredibly thin choke on it, like a very good choke on it. So your spray patterns can get very, very small, and it's very directional too, so you got to make sure you cover all of the model. And just like that, the color cup is about as clean as I need it to be to do a color change for the airbrush. It's as simple as that. You'll pick up these tips and tricks along the way, and you'll be on your way no problem. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Much less than the can for priming and base and zenithal. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, if you prefer the can, just, you use the can if you prefer it. Like, at the end of the day, it's just, that's what I like doing. But a can is definitely faster if you're like, I just kind of want to get this tabletop ready. and I'm going to put some detail on it here and there, but I'm kind of just going to get it ready for the tabletop. It's not a showpiece. It's going to be tossed around the table or whatever. Yeah, just go ham dinner on it, and you'll still get a great result out of the can. It's a wonderful result. I just preferred to do it this way because I wanted to make sure I got a lot of detail in this guy for Bill, since he's sticking his neck out for me. Yeah, yeah. Have I ever experimented with using house paints? I love that question, John Walker, and you know why? Yes, I have, but not on models. I have gone to like chemical reclamation sites, or like waste disposal sites, and they usually will have a paint place that they like will recycle the paint from. And I went in there and I asked them, "Hey, do you guys have any paints that like people have dropped off? Can I like look at them? Do you have any that might be worth my time or whatever?" And they were like, "Yeah, you can go into this room." And they had an entire garage, like basically a big old garage, full of just cans of paint that were waiting to be processed. And I got to come out of there. I was like a school child. I came out of there with like 18 cans of paints. And at the time I was making a really large terrain board that I kind of modeled after like Valhalla or something, and it had a large mountain on the back side of it, kind of like if you were to look at it horizontally, it was a 4x8 sheet, but on one half of it was a large mountain, and the mountain had a river that came down, and I made a little piece for a waterfall and a little pond at the bottom, and then the other sides had kind of their own little hills or whatever, and the idea was that you would meet to battle over near this pond area. But I found 2 cans of a wonderful forest green color, and I slapped it all over that baby. It looked great, and then I did the flogging over it, so I didn't have to use as much of the flock material to make the grass and stuff on it. It's kind of a same thing that model railroaders would do, but yeah, I've definitely used house paint for other things besides models. I wouldn't necessarily use house paint for models because the particulate size of like the actual ground dye in there is just so large. You can't run it through an airbrush, which I like using a lot, and it's really thick. So trying to thin that down would be really hard. There's a. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I could, like, I'm sure that they've got stuff for house painting and whatnot. That'd thin it down. I'm just too lazy to look. That's an interesting idea. I feel like that could be kind of a cool challenge video or something, like use the most, use house paints for your for your minis or something. That might gain some traction somewhere. There you go. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's pretty cheap. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Huh. Well, that's really cool to know. I'll try and get this guy finagled around in here. Why are we sitting here for? So about 15 minutes, we'll close the drawing and we'll spin the wheel of wonderful people that have come in and said hello, and we'll we'll end that process. And if you wanna stick around afterwards, I'm probably gonna keep painting for just a little while longer. If you don't, that's okay. I totally understand. But thanks for coming to the giveaway stream and all that jazz. Um, Yeah, try running apple barrel through an airbrush. It's fun. So I'm just wondering, we got a lot of RPG players in here. What's your favorite like monster or creature from our like your favorite RPG? I'm just kind of curious because, to be honest, after doing this dragon and just seeing some of the models that are out there, I think I might try and do another one. Like, it's kind of fun. But if you got a favorite one, let me know. And when I get around to painting one up, I might just go out and pick it up. Holy man, that is a big dragon. Wow. Like a winged armed medic. All right. That's a really big dragon, John Walker. A large griffin. All right, I can see it. What are we doing on time? We got about 10 minutes till the drawing closes. So if you got any friends that might want a shot at this, you can share the stream with them. Or if you want less competition, don't. Steal all the marbles, right? Well, it's been a lot of fun chatting with you guys in here. It's been a good time. The Mind Flayer, alright. Alright. Okay, yeah. The zombies for sure. Yeah, Boog and Spot have been pretty pretty good pretty good creatures, that's for sure. I'd love to paint up Boog or Spot. Darth Ducky. That's a pretty funny one right there. Wings, feathers, and scales off. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah, maybe sometime in the future I'll have to do a nurse from 40K. So we're gonna let this guy chill out and dry for a minute because I had to put quite a bit of paint on those wings to get them to kind of come out of the woodwork. We'll do a grand reveal once they're kind of tacky and I can handle it again. With all the highlighting we did on the face and whatnot, and we'll poke around the model and just kind of see what's going on. Um, let's see here, and we got about 5 minutes before we close that drawing. Um, Realms of Death. That sounds. There's a lot of model companies I haven't heard of. I'm starting to really realize that. That's our. If anybody would like a sip of the the party juice that came out of the airbrush, have it. Ooh, mummies. Mummies. Doing like some old school mummies would be fun too. I bet I could do up some pretty good mummies. It'd be kind of hard because they're all wrapped up. They're all kind of one color. But maybe there's some good mummy like sculpts out there that are like they still got the bandages and stuff, but maybe they've got some like skin and stuff underneath. That would be kind of more my go-to because um, I kind of like I have a hard time painting monotone minis and stuff. If they're like all totally wrapped up, kind of young kid birthday or not birthday, but Halloween style, with just it's totally wrapped up. That would be kind of a tough mini to paint. But yeah, a mummy with some good sculpt would be great. Beastmen cyborgs. Hmm. You guys have a good breath of what kind of creepy monsters are out there. That's for sure. Mommies. Yeah, what kind of mommies? Um, Mummies, yeah, like liches. Ooh, a lich would be really fun. I got in. Let me show them off. I got in some really cool color paints from Monument, and they would be perfect for like ooky spooky lich. Okay, I got two good ideas for a lich. All right. So here we go. How am I going to show these off? Well, actually, I don't think I would do it with that. I'd definitely use that color. Um, for a lich, I would definitely be going. I'd definitely be going with like a with a bright jade color. I'd be going with a turquoise for layer. So kind of a bit of a step up, but a subtle step. Got to have those ghosty ghouly things going in there. And then I would be going up for highlights with this, like, let me see if I can get the lighting to kind of cooperate here. There we go. Maybe do so. This bright pale green color, and it's like it just totally says ghost on the bottle. I made for liches, ghosts, and other ghouly beasts. It doesn't really say that on there. I'm making that up, but this color screams ghost to me. So doing a lich would be a really fun experiment, and I think I've got the colors to do it. To do up a real ooky spooky lich. Lich dragon, man. I'm gonna be an expert at painting dragons after a while with this channel. All right, so we're just hitting that time. I haven't seen. If you guys want to help me, I don't think I've seen anybody else new come into the chat besides Sarah, and I'm gonna executive veto that one because I'll just pick her up a copy if we want it. But yeah, ectoplasm green. That's what I'd call that one. Yeah, definitely ectoplasm green. Ooh, okay, yeah, put some lights on it. That'd be hot. But I haven't seen anybody new come into the chat. Here's who I have so far. We got Dungeon Minister, Tonka Todd, Sapphire's in here, Cheeseburger, Doom Sword, RPG Grandma, John Walker. Am I forgetting anybody? If do you guys think I've forgotten anyone that might have popped into the chat? You know how we can double check that? If you're in the chat, just type "I'm here" into the chat, and that way I can double check this. I'm scrolling back through it, and I'm not really seeing anybody else. Is there glow-in-the-dark paint? Asked Todd. I'm sure you could finagle some glow-in-the-dark paint. You could run through an airbrush, sure. I haven't seen any. Also, I forgot that chat filter all messages. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I just disabled. I didn't even realize that was on. I'm sorry you guys have been delaying 15 seconds. I think originally I put that on because I didn't know if there was going to be like 50 people in here or something. But yeah, that's out of there now. So go ahead and let me know if you're in here. Okay, got it. There's John. There's Dungeon Minister. Okay, cool. All right, let me figure out how to make that guy a little bigger. And we will... I'm going to put this on this side of me because we're done painting for a minute. We're gonna spin the wheel of fortune here. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm sorry, you're here with a tech inept millennial. And now I'm trying to get it open. Wow, Windows 10 is fun. Yeah, mood ring paints. There you go. Yeah, that would work. That would work. You could definitely do like a mood ring thing. Um, so Alt Tab, I think, to get to that. Wow, this is just going nuts on me, folks. I'm sorry. Might have to. That's where they've all gone. Bear with me as I'm out of the studio here. Usually a little more organized with myself. Yeah, the birds are out. The local high school nearby is doing some sports event. We had the local National Guard Air Wing rolling overhead earlier. Control Alt Tab. I'm not sure where this window went, so we're gonna have to start over, folks. Let's see here. Window capture. Alright, let's do that. Alright, we have the wheel generator here. Dungeon Minister, RPG, Grandma, Doom Sword, Sissy was in here, Mr. John Walker, let's see here, what else? I think that was, Cheeseburger was in here. Cheeseburger. And I think that's everybody, as far as I know. And George and Adam are not actual people that are part of this. Dungeon Minister, RPG Grandma. Oh, Tonka Todd, can't remember, or can't forget Todd. Mine's going a mile a minute. Tonka Todd. Yeah, Todd! Everybody's calling after Todd. Yep, Cheeseburger's on the list now too. He's on there. Alright, friends. Let's here's the moment of truth. Let's spin the spinning wheel of fun. Seven total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 indeed. Yep, okay, alright, here we go. We're spinning the wheel. Let's find out who got the box set. And it was Todd! Todd! Todd, you got it, man. uh, Suck through the ports. All right, Todd. It looks like you're the lucky winner of a copy of Warhammer Underworlds, the box game. You can keep it for yourself. You can do what you like with it. So now, let me get some text on the screen here for you. Actually, you know what? Yeah, Todd, I'm gonna message you on Discord, and I'll give you the instructions on how to claim your game, and we'll do it that way. So, there we go. All right. So there we go, folks. There you have it. Thanks for tossing your hats in the ring, though. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you coming and showing up and having some fun with me today as we painted up the dragon. I'm gonna give anybody else who'd like, you can stay for an extra minute. I'm gonna unmask this guy from his entombment in Silly Putty, and we'll just do a quick here's what all was accomplished today kind of reveal on the stream here before we call it quits. I think I actually am kind of done now. I've been behind the brush for about 3 hours, and you guys have been just so wonderful and entertaining and whatnot during that time. I really appreciate it. But I think my creative juices need a recharge overnight. In the future for this specific project, I'll be probably doing some midweek streams, and I'll put out some community posts about it. And that's probably what we'll end up doing, because this particular dragon is going to take a while, and I'd like to get it back to Bill in a reasonable amount of time, since he's it's quite a unique model, and I'm sure he wants to have it back home as quick as he can get it. Live cast is... Oh, well, hey, thanks. I appreciate that, Sapphire. And it's nice to be seen and heard by you. Yeah. Todd, we need a speech now. You gotta. Who are you thanking? Your family, your friends, and the producers, the directors. Are you thanking the Academy? Almost done with getting this guy all unmasked. I think they're having a soccer game out at the high school down the way, but all right, folks. Here we've got the good beginnings of the Red Dragon mini that we'll continue to paint over the course of the week here. I was going to put them on like a little motorized Lazy Susan, but I think I am more lazy than the Susan itself, and I won't be setting that up. But there you have it. Next time you see me, I'll be in the actual studio again, and we'll have the cameras and whatnot all set up, and we'll get some better picture of the work that was done with some of that stuff. Name him Stompy. Yeah, indeed, he looks like he's a Stompy. Always the fans. Yeah, hey, RBG Grandma, give it a shot. Give it a shot. I don't think you'd regret it. It's very cathartic. It's a nice peaceful part of the hobby. and a very creative one at that. I think you'd like it. Just hearing you from your videos, and I'm sure you'd enjoy painting, and especially with the right tools too. You know, it'll make it real easy to to do it for you. And if you want any suggestions on what to get, or some help in getting some tools set together, let me know. I'm sure I can get some connections going, and we can get you some painting supplies if you want them. Oh, I'm sure Bill is probably going to name this thing something. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I like Stompy. Stompy is fun because he's always like, I have to prop him up. I have to prop him up on this little, like, quarter um, dealio to make sure he doesn't fall over. But he's definitely got that Stompy look. He's supposed to go on this base like there's a single hole in his foot, and he's supposed to go on there just like a so. And it's the most precarious model I've seen in a long time. Uh, the way that he's positioned. Um, yeah. Like Cuddles the dragon. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll have to put that up to Bill. I gotta tell him you can't even open the box until you name the thing. Love him, hug him, and squeeze him, and kiss him, and call him George. Yeah, yeah. All right, all right. Mm. All right, friends. Well, with that, I think I'm gonna leave the stream here. Thanks for a wonderful 3 hours and 15 minutes of chit chat and painting and interactions with you guys, and we'll catch you again in the next one. So, everybody, take care. Appreciate you very much. Todd, congratulations on winning yourself a brand new game to play with whoever you'd like, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you very much.